When I was 8 years old, lying in bed trying on my airplane print pajamas, my half-sister suddenly burst into my room. She said she wanted to tuck me in, but her hand unconsciously reached toward my underwear. I thought it was just her special way of keeping me warm. But gradually I began to realize this was a sign of familial love turning twisted. Until I turned 18 and nervously confessed my feelings to her, she withdrew all the tenderness she'd ever shown me and began treating me with cruel words. Until today, when she brought home a man and told me to call him brother-in-law, I silently pulled back the cancer diagnosis I was about to hand her. Taking out my phone to call someone, "Professor, I volunteer for the human cryogenic freezing experiment." There was a long silence on the other end. Then Professor Harrison's sigh echoed through. "All right. Come to the lab tomorrow for testing. We'll determine the optimal freezing method and timeline." The moment I hung up, Lauren Blake carried a plate of freshly cooked food out from the kitchen. "You came back just in time. Xavier and I are getting married on October 12th. From now on, your brother-in-law will make all the major and minor decisions in this house." Just a few brief words, but they pierced my heart like 10,000 arrows. That day was my birthday, and also the anniversary of my parents' death. The old newspaper still carried the related news. Wealthy socialite goes insane. Stabs sleeping husband 30 times in a frenzy. Then hangs herself, leaving behind only a 5-year-old son. I was that 5-year-old child. That day I hid in the closet. It was Lauren Blake who pulled me out. "Sweetie, don't be afraid, I'm here. With me here, I absolutely won't let anyone hurt you." She took me home. Anything I wanted, even if it was the stars in the sky, she would pluck them for me. Until the day she discovered those forbidden feelings, everything changed. I lowered my head, sadly responding, "I understand." Lauren Blake thought I would make a scene, but unexpectedly, I calmly accepted it. A rare flash of surprise crossed her eyes. Xavier Woods beside her laughed. "Don't be so serious. You're scaring Ethan. Ethan, don't mind her. Let's go eat." With that, he pulled me toward the dining room. I didn't expect Xavier Woods to suddenly grab me. Caught off guard, the documents in my hand scattered everywhere. Lauren Blake frowned, bent down to pick up a coffin design from the floor, then coldly questioned, "What is this?" Though my heart was dying from tension, I maintained a calm facade. I casually explained, "A coffin design. Research materials for my summer project." Before break, the professor assigned us to freely design a product. I want to design a crystal coffin that can preserve bodies from decomposing. So I found some materials online, printed them as reference. Hearing this, Lauren Blake still looked gloomy. "Ethan Clark, are you sick?" I whispered. "It's just a summer project. Don't be angry." Lauren Blake remained stone-faced. Xavier Woods laughed heartily. "That's right. Choose something else. Coffins are bad luck. Young people shouldn't have such dark thoughts. Brighten up a bit." I gathered all the documents, scattered on the floor, then in front of Lauren Blake. Threw them all in the trash. Lauren Blake's expression softened slightly. In the middle of the night, after everyone was asleep, I snuck out to dig through the trash for the documents. On my way back, Xavier Woods stepped out of his room. I forced myself to avoid eye contact, repeating over and over in my mind, "Don't look. Don't think. He's Lauren Blake's fiancé copyright." Xavier Woods raised his eyebrows provocatively. "Ethan Clark, why won't you look at me? So different from hours earlier. Could it be that even now, you still can't accept that the person Lauren Blake loves is me?" "Not you?" I lowered my eyes. "No, I've already accepted it." Xavier Woods sneered. "Stop pretending. You think I can't see? The way you look at Lauren Blake is completely abnormal. Even though you call her sister Lauren, she raised you like a mother figure. Ethan Clark, are you some kind of psychological deviant?" I stayed silent. Am I really psychologically twisted? No wonder Sister Lauren became so disgusted after learning my true feelings. "So this feeling, in the eyes of the world, is this filthy? I heard you became an orphan because your mother went insane. Took a knife in the middle of the night and stabbed your father over 30 times. Brutally murdered him." Xavier Woods stepped closer. Deliberately provoking. No wonder you're psychologically twisted. Turns out it's hereditary. Your mother was a deranged psychopath. And so are you. I could endure Xavier Woods insulting me. But I couldn't bear him insulting my deceased parents. Shut up. I lunged forward, gripping Xavier Woods's throat tightly. You don't know anything. You have no right. Before I could finish, a cold voice suddenly rang out. Ethan Clark. What are you doing? Lauren Blake had woken up at some point, standing in the doorway, glaring at me with fury. Xavier Woods put on a wounded expression. Lauren, don't blame Ethan. It's all my fault. I went out for water and accidentally bumped into Ethan. When he saw me, he said, I don't deserve to be with you. He was lying. I didn't scold him. I was somewhat angry. He deliberately brought up my parents to provoke me and called my mother a psycho. Xavier Woods looked bewildered. What psycho? Ethan, what are you talking about? What about your parents? All I know is, they passed away when you were very young. I don't know anything else. Lauren Blake gently comforted Xavier Woods, then turned to look at me coldly. Ethan Clark, I never expected that to frame Xavier. You'd say such things. She looked at me with eyes full of disappointment. Xavier doesn't know anything. I've never told him about your background. I looked at her uncomfortably. You didn't tell him. But couldn't he look it up online himself? It's not like it can't be found. Enough. Before I could finish, Lauren Blake coldly cut me off. Apologize to Xavier immediately. Lauren Blake commanded coldly. I frowned at her. I won't apologize. I'm not wrong. The one who should apologize is Xavier Woods. I've really spoiled you too much. Lauren Blake's voice grew even colder. From today, you're not allowed to leave your room. Stay inside and reflect carefully. When you've thought it through. When you're willing to apologize, then come out. I was locked in my room. Just then my phone suddenly vibrated. The person in charge of the cryogenic freezing experiment sent me a message. Mr. Clark, your health examination results are ready. After our team's research, your optimal freezing time is between the 7th and 21st of next month. You can choose according to your preference. Select any day in that period for the freezing procedure. Next month was December. My heart ached again. Next month, I stayed silent in the darkness for a long time. Then tremblingly typed the date I chose, December 12th. December 12th was my birthday. And also the day Lauren Blake and Xavier Woods would get married. I'd better not attend their wedding. Sister Lauren already despises me. My presence would only irritate them. Just quietly leave on my own, without bothering anyone. I don't have much time left. I have so many things to do. Plus I don't want to waste precious time being imprisoned. So I went to Lauren Blake to admit my fault. Sister Lauren, I've thought it through. It was all my fault. I apologize. Lauren Blake remained cold. She looked at me, without the indulgence and gentleness of before. The person you should apologize to isn't me. It's Xavier. Fine, I'll apologize to him. Too emotionally agitated, my whole body trembled uncontrollably. Brother-in-law, I'm sorry. Those two words, brother-in-law, made the man freeze for a moment. Lauren Blake's eyelashes trembled slightly. For a moment, she almost couldn't believe what she was hearing. Is that good enough now? Sister Lauren? I smiled self-deprecatingly, but felt incredibly uncomfortable inside. Are you satisfied? Lauren Blake should have felt satisfied. But somehow seeing me admit fault, hearing me call Xavier Woods brother-in-law, made her feel extremely uncomfortable inside. She turned away, not daring to look at me again. From today, you move downstairs. Seeing she said nothing more, I turned and went downstairs. Since Sister Lauren told me to move downstairs, then I'll move. After all, I don't have many days left to live. That evening, I drove to the cryogenic freezing lab again. I wanted to discuss with the person in charge about where my ice coffin would be stored after being frozen. I saw in the documents that you also have coffin storage facilities under the ocean. Is that true? The person in charge replied, of course. Actually, I won't hide it from you. Most of our ice coffin storage is underwater. Because on land, to ensure the ice coffins maintain temperatures of -hundreds of degrees long-term, requires enormous energy consumption. But if we store ice coffins on the ocean floor, energy consumption is very low. Because the ocean floor temperature is already very low. I smiled. Perfect. I want my ice coffin stored on the ocean floor. The person in charge was somewhat puzzled. May I ask why? I kept smiling. Because the stars can't find me there. Not wanting to see Xavier Woods. I deliberately stayed out very late before going home. But when I got home, the villa was brightly lit. Lauren Blake was sitting coldly in the living room waiting for me. Sister Lauren, what's wrong? I was confused, not understanding what I'd done wrong again. Clearly I'd been out all day today. Hadn't done anything. Lauren Blake threw a pile of documents at me. Then asked with suppressed anger, Ethan Clark, tell me what this is? I looked down, among the scattered documents on the floor. I saw my cancer diagnosis. How could you go through my things? I immediately panicked. I didn't dare answer Lauren Blake's question directly. So I deliberately deflected. I'm already 18. You can't just enter my room. Go through my belongings. Lauren Blake angrily smashed the teacup on the table. Is that the point? In the tension, Xavier Woods pretended to mediate. Ethan, you're misunderstanding your sister Lauren. She didn't enter your room. I didn't bring spare clothes. Really had nothing to wear. So I went into your room, looking for old clothes you don't wear to borrow. Who knew I'd accidentally see this cancer diagnosis on your desk? He was clearly lying. Because the day I received the cancer diagnosis, I'd locked it away. But in Xavier Woods's description, I'd deliberately left the cancer diagnosis in an obvious place, waiting for them to discover it. Xavier Woods crossed his arms, looking sad and worried. Ethan, you're so young, how could you have cancer? Be honest with your brother-in-law. Is this cancer diagnosis real? Or just a prank? I turned to look at Lauren Blake. Only then did I suddenly realize. In Sister Lauren's eyes looking at me, there was more anger than concern. Before I came home, Xavier Woods must have whispered enough poison. So Sister Lauren didn't think I had cancer. Just thought I was pretending. To get her attention. I thought this was actually good. At least my secret wouldn't be discovered. So I said lightly, it's a prank. I was joking with friends. Didn't expect you to discover. Before I could finish, Lauren Blake, still cold-faced on the sofa, without a word, suddenly stood up. Now, immediately follow me to the hospital for examination. Whether it's a prank or not, the hospital will have the conclusion. Sister Lauren, I don't want to go. Hearing this, Lauren Blake gave a cold glance. Just one look silenced me. I understood Sister Lauren. So I also knew, this examination today was mandatory. It was already midnight when we arrived at the hospital. Logically speaking, at this hour, except for the emergency department, other departments wouldn't accept patients. But Lauren Blake had called the hospital director before arriving. So doctors were urgently dispatched to give me the most comprehensive health examination. Cancer screening takes at least 2 hours for results. These 2 hours, every minute and second was torture for me. Not knowing how long I endured. Finally it came to an end. The doctor came out with the diagnostic report. Ms. Blake, the test results are ready. Mr. Clark is very healthy. Absolutely no cancer at all. I didn't expect after enduring so long to finally get this result. I suddenly turned to look at Xavier Woods. Without thinking, I knew he must have secretly pulled strings. Xavier Woods let out a long sigh of relief, looking finally reassured. Wonderful. It was just a prank. Ethan is fine. Lauren and I can finally relax. Lauren Blake still said nothing. She stared at me intently, suddenly startled to see my face was frighteningly pale, almost without any color. Though he doesn't have cancer. According to the test results, Mr. Clark's body is currently very weak, severely malnourished. As if sensing Lauren Blake's suspicion, the doctor tactfully added, has he been dieting to lose weight recently? Lauren Blake's expression immediately became extremely ugly. I recently, indeed, hadn't been eating properly. This was normal too. After all, having lost Sister Lauren, being treated so coldly by her, her disgust for me, how could I have the appetite to eat properly? But in Lauren Blake's eyes, this was something completely different. To pretend to be sick and deceive me. You tortured your body like this? What do you want? To make me pity you? Then agree to be with you? Ethan Clarke, can you be a little more clear-headed? Hearing this, I felt my heart being stabbed. I didn't. Though knowing she wouldn't believe me, I still tried to deny. I really didn't. But my denial against these iron facts was obviously extremely weak. Lauren Blake looked at me with profound disappointment. What have I raised you to become? In that moment I felt like 10,000 arrows piercing my heart. Lauren Blake left me alone at the hospital, directly leaving with Xavier Woods in her arms. The entire next week, she didn't speak a single word to me. I tried many times to repair our relationship, but all failed. Until the day before Lauren Blake and Xavier Woods' wedding. Sister Lauren, you're getting married tomorrow. Will you still not talk to me? My expression was truly sorrowful. But Lauren Blake's eyes remained cold. Have you given up? I nodded with reddened eyes. Yes, I have. I swear this time I'm absolutely not lying to you. This time I really wasn't lying. Because I was about to die. When someone dies, their heart surely dies with them. Lauren Blake glanced at my reddened eyes, clearly not believing my words. But she still softened. After all, it was someone she'd raised. How could she bear to truly ignore me forever? Come to my and Xavier's wedding tomorrow. Sincerely wish us well, and I'll forgive you. Lauren Blake said coldly. Don't play any tricks. Xavier and I have been promised to each other for a long time. No matter how much fuss you make, you can't change this outcome. I lowered my eyes. I won't make a fuss. My obedience and calmness made her heart ache. An inexplicable irritation invaded her entire heart. Lauren Blake turned away, not daring to look at my face anymore. I spoke up again at this moment. Sister Lauren, I'll attend your wedding. But after the wedding ends, could you have a meal with me? Lauren Blake and Xavier Woods were having a Western-style wedding. The ceremony would usually be completed before noon. Tomorrow is my birthday. Before, you were always with me on my birthdays. Could you spend one last birthday with me? I know on your wedding day. This request is excessive, but I won't disturb your wedding. At 4 p.m., all the wedding ceremonies will definitely be completed. She just needs to come by then. Have a piece of cake with me. Then wish me a happy birthday. And I'll be content. Such a modest request. Lauren Blake finally couldn't bear to refuse. So she stiffly replied, Fine. I barely slept all night. I kept my eyes open until dawn. Then got ready to attend Lauren Blake's wedding. The wedding was very lively. Almost all of high society came to congratulate them. Xavier Woods wore an expensive white suit, his face full of happiness as he held Lauren Blake's waist. Lauren Blake had also changed into her wedding dress. Sister Lauren was so beautiful. I thought. Gorgeous, noble, with incredible presence. Time seemed especially partial to her, never leaving a single mark on her face. 13 years had passed, but she was still just like when she pulled me from the closet that day. Still so beautiful. Still so captivating. My eyes were glued to her, greedily looking a few more times, before stepping forward, presenting the wedding gift I'd prepared with both hands. Sister Lauren, wishing you happiness. I sincerely blessed her, hoping she would be happy and peaceful from now on. Lauren Blake took the gift. She looked at me deeply, without saying anything, but in the depths of her eyes, there seemed to be emotions that absolutely could not be revealed, surging wildly. But I didn't see it. After giving the gift, I quietly left the wedding. I really didn't have the courage to witness Sister Lauren marrying Xavier Woods with my own eyes. I'm sorry, I'm not that magnanimous. I sincerely wish Sister Lauren well, but I could never accept Xavier Woods. After leaving the wedding, I first went to the cemetery to offer one last bouquet to my deceased parents. Mom, now I seem to understand why you chose suicide. Living is truly too painful. Why didn't you take me with you then? You hated Dad so much, but you took him with you. You said you loved me most, but you left me here alone. In this vast world, I suddenly feel so lonely. It seems from beginning to end, no one has ever firmly chosen me, loved me to death without changing their heart, never abandoning me forever. Not even you, Mom. Never mind, even you didn't love me that much. Sister Lauren has actually done very well. If your spirits are watching from above, don't protect me anymore. Protect her instead. With that, I bent down to kiss my parents' gravestone. Then turned and left. I went to the restaurant alone. Then patiently waited for Sister Lauren to come spend one last birthday with me. Time passed minute by minute. The wedding had long ended at 5 o'clock. But I still didn't see Lauren Blake. My phone suddenly vibrated. A notification appeared. Xavier Woods posted on Instagram. Wedding's over. Honeymoon begins. First stop, Provence. Departing right now. Below the text was a photo. 2 plane tickets stacked on top of each other. The top one was Xavier Woods's. The bottom one didn't need guessing whose it was. The departure time was 5:30 p.m. Only now did I realize Sister Lauren wouldn't come anymore. The cake on the table had started melting. I picked up the cake. Like a soulless puppet. Mechanically putting it in my mouth. Why is the cream salty? It doesn't taste good at all. I forced myself to eat the entire cake. Then paid and turned to leave. I wish myself an unhappy birthday. I hope when I die, I won't suffer anymore. This was my birthday wish to myself. I drove to the cryogenic freezing lab. The staff in the lab were already in position, just waiting for me to arrive. No one celebrated my birthday. But fortunately, someone would see me off at my death. Even if just a group of strangers. I thought for a moment, taking out a suicide note, to give to the person in charge of the cryogenic freezing experiment. If someone comes looking for me, please give them this letter. If no one comes, just throw it away. It's nothing important anyway. The person in charge took the letter. I'll keep it safe. Then I turned around, walking step by step toward the coffin that belonged to me. I lay down inside, just like when I was little. Every time Mom and Dad fought, I would hide in the closet. The cramped space of the closet made me feel safe. This world was too big, too complicated. I couldn't handle it. I was returning to my closet again. Everything was ready. Begin cooling. Following the supervisor's command, the cold rushed in. I immediately lost consciousness. Goodbye, Sister Lauren. I wish you happiness. A week later, Lauren Blake and Xavier Woods returned to the villa together. The villa was silent. Lauren Blake unconsciously frowned, always feeling something was missing. She quickly realized Ethan Clark wasn't there to greet them. Before, every time she came back from business trips, Ethan Clark would rush to hug her. Then say childishly, "Sister Lauren, why are you only coming back now? I missed you to death." But this time no one greeted them. Lauren Blake felt somewhat uncomfortable inside. But thinking about how she'd abandoned the boy before leaving, this nameless anger was forcefully suppressed by her. "Ethan," she called out, wanting to call me out. She'd brought gifts for me from this business trip, as a small compensation. Yet the villa remained silent. No one answered. Why isn't this kid responding? Xavier Woods smiled brightly. Is he still angry with you? But what happened was so sudden. He didn't even finish attending our wedding before rushing off, flying to Europe. Later I was worried your assistant wouldn't explain clearly. So I personally went to find Ethan to explain the situation. But Xavier Woods deliberately said only half, leaving the other half for Lauren Blake to guess. Lauren Blake's anger, indeed, immediately flared up. I've really spoiled him too much. Come on. It was Ethan's birthday that day after all. You abandoned him, it's normal for him to be upset. Xavier Woods slowly approached Lauren Blake, then gently advised. I'll call Ethan. Tell him to come back. Don't be angry anymore. We're all family. Harmony brings prosperity. On the surface Xavier Woods was speaking well of me. But actually he was using his understanding to highlight my unreasonableness. After all, Lauren Blake for work had directly left him, the groom, alone at the wedding. He didn't make a fuss, and even gently reminded Lauren Blake on the phone to take care of her health, not to overwork, while I, just because my birthday was forgotten, had started causing chaos. With such a comparison, whose side Lauren Blake's heart would lean toward, went without saying. Xavier Woods took out his phone, pretending to dial my number. Then he exclaimed strangely. Lauren Blake frowned again. What's wrong? Xavier Woods looked puzzled. I had Ethan's number saved. I could clearly call before. Suddenly it's become a non-existent number. Lauren Blake suddenly felt an uneasy feeling rise in her heart. She quickly took out her phone to dial my number. However, seconds later, she heard the same automated voice as Xavier Woods. Hello. The number you have dialed does not exist. Xavier Woods seemed to realize something. Looking worried on the surface, but actually adding fuel to the fire. Lauren, Ethan didn't run away from home because he's angry, did he? Lauren Blake's expression became extremely ugly. She strode toward my room, then kicked the door open. The room that had been warmly and interestingly decorated was now completely empty. Nothing left. All the gifts she'd given me had disappeared. Xavier Woods followed behind Lauren Blake, covering his mouth, exclaiming, "Where are Ethan's things? Why are they all gone? Did he really run away from home?" Under Xavier Woods's guidance, Lauren Blake also subjectively thought, I had run away from home in anger. In an instant, the anger in her heart rose even higher. He ran away from home over such a small matter. He's rebelling. Seeing Lauren Blake so angry, Xavier Woods was overjoyed inside. But on the surface he pretended to be very worried about me, looking anxiously toward Ethan. Why is this child so impulsive? Lauren, Ethan probably hasn't gone far yet. Quickly send people to find him. Lauren Blake's expression was extremely ugly. A child? He's already 18. But he's still like before, stubborn. Not mature at all. Thinking of this, the anger Lauren Blake had barely suppressed immediately burned even stronger. She said coldly, "Since he doesn't want to come back to this house, then let him stay out there. Pass down my order. No one is allowed to look for him." That sentence made Xavier Woods extremely happy. Perfect. He'd finally driven away that eyesore. Just one more step, and he would officially become the master of the Blake household. However, though her words were harsh, Lauren Blake ultimately softened. After all, it was someone she'd raised with her own hands. She couldn't really not care. So after saying those cruel words, the next day, she secretly sent people to look for me. However, the more people she sent, I still disappeared without a trace. Boss, we've contacted all of Ethan's friends from kindergarten to college. They all said this entire summer he hasn't been in touch with them. They haven't seen him either. The subordinates reported back one by one, but all with useless information. I was still missing. They couldn't even find a single useful clue until Lauren Blake's assistant brought back shocking news. Boss, the private detective I hired just found out. Ethan's household registration has been cancelled. Lauren Blake's body clearly stiffened. What did you say? Household registration cancellation is usually done at the police station. Lauren Blake went to the police station at top speed. She found the officer who had processed my household cancellation. Then angrily questioned, "Why did you cancel Ethan Clark's household registration? Who gave you permission to cancel it? He's still alive. What right do you have to cancel his registration?" The officer was quite frightened, but still tried to stay calm. "Ma'am, please calm down. If you have any issues, let's sit down and talk. Whatever questions you have, I'll definitely try to answer." Afraid her boss would continue to lose control, the assistant quickly spoke up, "Sorry. We're Ethan Clark's family. We just received notification that you've cancelled Ethan Clark's household registration. But our child is still alive. Why cancel the registration? Please check what's going on." The officer showed understanding. "Ethan Clark? Ah, I remember him. A particularly handsome young man. I had a deep impression. About 10 days ago he came here to cancel his household registration. Said he had cancer. Didn't have long to live. Usually, here we only process cancellations after death, when family members come to handle the procedure. He came to cancel his own registration. This clearly wasn't according to procedure. So I didn't agree. Didn't process the cancellation for him." "Didn't process?" The assistant was shocked. "Then why did we receive notification that Ethan's registration was cancelled?" "Let me finish," the officer said. "Indeed didn't process it then. But a few days later, some cryogenic freezing research group came, said they wanted to process Ethan Clark's household cancellation. This research group had previously handled related procedures with us. I'm not clear on the specifics. Seems to be freezing people with terminal illnesses, all like something out of a dream. Lauren Blake returned from the police station, her whole being somewhat lost. She didn't even know how she got back. She couldn't understand why everything had turned out this way. Clearly a week before she left, everything was still fine. Ethan had even whined about wanting her to spend his birthday with him. How had everything completely changed in just 1 week? If she had known that might be the last birthday she'd spend with him, she never would have broken her promise no matter what. Xavier Woods stepped out of the bedroom, coming to Lauren Blake's side. "What's wrong, Lauren? Your face looks terrible. Are you still worried? I told you about Ethan. Ethan is already 18. He's an adult. We can't keep treating him like a child forever. So don't worry anymore. Maybe he's just angry inside." So he went traveling with friends to relieve his feelings. As Xavier Woods spoke, he reached out to embrace Lauren Blake's waist. This eyesore was gone. Now he only lacked the final step to secure his position as master of the Blake household. And that final step was relations with Lauren Blake. He wanted to take advantage of my running away to completely conquer Lauren Blake, make Lauren Blake intoxicated with his body, become his woman. With that thought, Xavier Woods breathed seductively to coax Lauren Blake, while pressing his soft body against her. "Lauren, you're too tense. Let me help you relax." With that, he reached his hand toward the forbidden secret place below Lauren Blake's body. However, his hand hadn't yet touched what he desired when Lauren Blake suddenly struck, slapping him across the face. "Ethan has cancer. So why that day, when I took him to the hospital for examination, did the doctor say Ethan was fine?" She finished with a cold glance at him. Xavier Woods's expression clearly changed, guilt hidden in his eyes, though he quickly regained composure, pretending to calmly defend himself. I don't know that doctor. Maybe he examined wrong? Really?" Lauren Blake narrowed her eyes, her gaze like knives, slowly sliding across Xavier Woods's skin. "Then why did my people just find out? The doctor who examined Ethan is your half-brother?" Xavier Woods's face immediately turned white as paper. He didn't expect Lauren Blake had investigated even this. Xavier Woods was an illegitimate child. That night Lauren Blake took me to the hospital for examination. That hospital was actually opened by Xavier Woods's biological father. But Xavier's father had never acknowledged having a son named Xavier Woods. No one outside knew Xavier Woods had this identity. Lauren Blake found Xavier Woods to pretend to be her boyfriend then. Though she'd sent people to investigate Xavier Woods, she only investigated superficially, didn't dig too deep. So initially, she didn't know Xavier Woods and that hospital had this relationship. Now she finally knew, but everything was too late. With the matter exposed, Xavier Woods didn't persist anymore. He knelt down hugging Lauren Blake's slender legs. "Lauren, I was wrong. But you have to believe me. I never wanted to harm Ethan. It was all actually my father's idea. I didn't agree at first. I kept advising my father not to do this. But my father told me, if you knew he had cancer, you'd definitely agree to be with him out of pity. Then I'd have no chance at all. Lauren, I truly did wrong. But it's all because I love you too much. During our time together, I've fallen madly in love with you. I don't want our relationship to be just an act. I want to be with you." With that, Xavier Woods lunged at Lauren Blake. "Lauren, I love you. I want to have you. Please give yourself to me. I love you. I really love you. As long as I can be with you, I'll do anything." However, Xavier Woods's desperate madness only earned him a merciless kick from Lauren Blake. With complete disgust, Lauren Blake kicked the lunging Xavier Woods far away. She said coldly, "Xavier Woods, don't rush to defend yourself. Because whatever you say is meaningless now. Whether this was your idea or your father's idea, it doesn't matter. From today, your father will no longer be director of St. Mary's Hospital, and your half-brother will have his medical license revoked. You won't receive a single cent. And I guarantee you, as long as I'm alive, Your entire family won't find decent work in America. Lauren Blake was very clear in her heart. Xavier Woods didn't love her at all. He only loved her wealth and status. He wanted to be a wealthy young master. He wanted to live a luxurious life. He wanted to enjoy everything the rich could enjoy. For a fame and profit-seeking man like him, the best punishment wasn't death, but making him poor for life. Forever at the bottom of society. Never getting what he wanted. Sure enough, after hearing Lauren Blake's words, Xavier Woods immediately collapsed, his face full of despair. Ha ha, Lauren Blake, you think I drove Ethan Clark away? No, you're wrong. At most I just fanned the flames. The real culprit who drove him to leave was you. The real one who drove him away was you. In extreme desperation, Xavier Woods lost all reason. He pointed at Lauren Blake, cursing. I'm just a nobody. Ethan Clark doesn't care at all what I say. Or what I do. Even if I held a megaphone, shouting in his ear every day, Sister Lauren doesn't love you. She hates you. Get lost. Stop bothering her, it would be useless. He wouldn't be sad hearing it. And certainly wouldn't run away from home. What really made him desperately heartbroken was your actions. You deliberately treated him coldly. And paid me to provoke him. Even threw me a wedding. More extravagant than ever before. Ha ha, Lauren Blake, your mouth says you don't love Ethan Clark. But actually you've loved him for a long time, haven't you? You just don't dare admit it because of your status. Lauren Blake, you're in love with a boy so much younger than yourself. Are you psychologically twisted? Ethan Clark likes you. At least he had the courage to say it. But you only dare to secretly love in your heart. You don't even have the courage to speak up. And did all these absurd things. Driving away the dying person you love. Ha ha, Lauren Blake, you're the biggest fool. The #1 fool in the world. Hearing Xavier Woods's maniacal laughter, Lauren Blake should have been angry. But she wasn't, because Xavier Woods was absolutely right. She truly was the world's biggest fool. When she learned Ethan liked her, her first reaction wasn't actually anger, but joy, because she had also long. But they couldn't be together. She was so much older than him. How could they be together? His attachment to her was understandable. After all, he was still a child. But she wasn't. She was an adult. She was so much older than him. So naturally she had to be more rational than him. She couldn't be like him, infatuated. She had to restrain herself. Then heartlessly do the right thing. When this feeling had just sprouted, she had to cruelly crush it. So after the joy, she coldly and sternly scolded him. Then found Xavier Woods, asked him to pretend to be her boyfriend, to completely sever Ethan's feelings for her. She thought she was doing the right thing. That an older person should be cold and restrained. Even deep love couldn't be easily confessed. And as his half-guardian, she also had the responsibility to guide Ethan in the right direction. But why, when she clearly did the right thing, did it end up like this? On her dreamy wedding day, the person she loved most vanished like sinking into the sea. Pain like a broken dam flooding. Crashing down like a tsunami sweeping everything away. Lauren Blake clutched her chest, in too much pain to breathe. Her Ethan. What desperate state of mind was he in? When he lay in that coffin. He'd clearly been most afraid of darkness and cold since childhood. When she first brought him to the Blake house. Every night he would hug his stuffed bunny. Coming to sleep with her, he would use an incredibly childish tone. Whining. Sister Lauren's body is like a big heater. So warm. With Sister Lauren beside me, Ethan will never feel cold. But in the end, he still chose the coldest ice coffin in this world. Why? Because she'd hurt him to the core. He couldn't feel any warmth in this world anymore. So he'd rather lie in an ice coffin. Freezing his entire world? Is that it, Ethan? Lauren Blake didn't know the answer. She only knew at this moment. She missed Ethan to the point of madness. She had to see him immediately. Even if only in an ice coffin. Her people quickly found contact information for the cryogenic freezing research group and got the address of their laboratory. Lauren Blake went there immediately. The person in charge of the cryogenic freezing research group received her. Are you Ms. Lauren Blake? Before Mr. Ethan Clark was frozen. He gave me a suicide note. At that time he said if someone came looking, to give this letter to that person. With that, the person in charge took out a brown envelope from his briefcase and handed it to Lauren Blake. On the envelope, in my handwriting, "Dear Lauren Blake." Her hands immediately trembled. Taking the envelope, even breathing hurt. "So Ethan, you knew I would come here looking for you? Is this your punishment for Sister Lauren? Poor child. Ms. Blake, I think you need privacy. Well then, I'll wait outside for you. After you finish reading the letter and calm down, you can find me in the office next door." With that, the person in charge turned and left. As he left, he thoughtfully closed the door for Lauren Blake. Lauren Blake took a deep breath, then opened the envelope. The moment the envelope opened, my familiar handwriting appeared again. "Sister Lauren, the person opening this letter must be you, right? Because I can't think of anyone else who would come looking for me. Thinking about it is quite tragic. Living for so long, if I suddenly disappeared one day. Besides you, I can't think of a second person who would come looking for me. And what's even more tragic is, right now I'm not even sure if you'll come looking for me. After all, you already have Xavier Woods. Sorry for saying things you don't like to hear again. Please don't be angry. I don't mean to blame you. Actually, I'm very happy for you. Being alone in this world is truly too lonely. So lonely. Finding someone you like and spending your life with them is a fortunate thing. Sister Lauren, I don't know why. Every time I wish you well, you never believe me. You always think I still have feelings for you. That my blessings for you are all fake. That I'm lying to you. That I have other intentions. But actually that's not true. I admit I still really like you. This feeling probably won't change even after 1,000 years. 10,000 years. But the liking is real. And my blessings for you are all real too. When you read this letter, I must already be lying in the ice coffin, right? At this point I have no reason to lie anymore. So Sister Lauren, can you believe me now? I sincerely wish you well. I hope you and the one you love grow old together, with children and grandchildren filling your home. I hope you enjoy all the good things in life, even if the person enjoying those good things with you isn't me. Sister Lauren, please don't be sad because I left. And don't blame yourself. My choice to do this actually has nothing to do with you. When I was little, every time Mom and Dad fought I would hide in the closet. It was very dark and cold in the closet. But only when hiding in that cramped closet did I feel safe. Back then, that small wardrobe was my entire world. Later Sister Lauren pulled me out of the closet. The world outside was so big and vast, though it wasn't dark anymore. But somehow, I felt my heart had nowhere to rest. I think maybe I overestimated myself. I'd always been hiding in cramped spaces, unable to adapt to this vast world. Fortunately, I still had Sister Lauren. As long as Sister Lauren was beside me, I wouldn't be afraid of anything. So I secretly placed my heart on you. My love quietly grew through the changing seasons. I don't think there's anything sinful about this. On the contrary, I think it's very sacred. When I was in school, my favorite teacher once told me, people don't live alone in this world. This world has many people. Each person with each other person has connections to varying degrees. And these small connections between people form a network of relationships, which is the connection between people and the world. At that time the teacher gave an example, saying everyone has parents. We and our parents build family connections. That's our connection to the world. Unfortunately, I don't have parents. I only have Sister Lauren. I don't have a lover either. I only have Sister Lauren. I don't even have friends. I only have Sister Lauren. Sister Lauren is my only connection to this world. I stand at the crossroads. People hurrying back and forth. This city has so many people. But to me they're all strangers. Only Sister Lauren is different. Only Sister Lauren holds me when I'm cold, comforts me when I'm scared, buys me birthday cake, buys me gifts, and makes wishes with me blowing out candles. Sister Lauren, you always say my feelings for you are twisted, abnormal. Xavier Woods also says I'm psychologically deviant. But how could I not like you? When Mom couldn't bear Dad's long-term mental control, wielding a knife stabbing Dad. When Mom laughed hanging herself from the beam. When my world started collapsing inch by inch, it was Sister Lauren. You pulled me out of that ruined world. Saying Dad actually loved Mom very much. He just used the wrong way. You said Mom actually loved me very much. But she couldn't control herself. She was afraid she would hurt me. So she left first, entrusting me to you. Asking you to take care of me for her. Why? Can you understand the twisted love between Dad and Mom? But can't accept my love? This question doesn't need an answer. Sister Lauren, you don't need to answer me. I've said so much. Just wanting you to know. In my heart, loving you is the most sacred thing I've ever done in my life. Even if you don't understand or accept it, I hope you won't resist so much. Don't find me disgusting. Don't hate me. Hundreds of years from now, even if science advances and cancer can be cured, please don't thaw me. Sister Lauren is my only connection to the world. Now this connection is broken. I don't care about the outside world anymore. Now I'm returning to my wardrobe. This place belongs to me. Cramped, enclosed, and very safe. I'll sleep a very, very long sleep. And don't wish to wake up. Before falling asleep, one last time, I offer my blessing to my dearest Sister Lauren. Sister Lauren, I wish you happiness. I hope your life from now on is complete. Without regrets. Ethan Clarke. The final letter was finished. Lauren Blake's tears silently fell onto the paper, wetting the page. She came to her senses, startled to realize she was drenched in tears. Complete. Without regrets. Looking at the final blessing I gave her, she cried and laughed like a madwoman. Ethan. Without you, how can I be complete? Do you know, everything you saw before dying was fake. Sister Lauren lied to you. Without regrets? Ha ha. One lie, one separation. But it made both our lives full of regrets. Much later, Lauren Blake finally walked out of the room. The moment she stepped out, she felt as if several lifetimes had passed. The person in charge looked at her and said, Ms. Blake, our freezing of Mr. Ethan Clarke was completely legal and legitimate. Here are the relevant documents. All the places that needed signatures. Mr. Ethan Clarke signed them himself. Also, I want to tell you, please don't consider this separation as permanent. Because Ethan Clarke isn't dead. The freezing was completed in an instant. I can guarantee you, his body, every cell is undamaged. After the freezing was complete, we immediately conducted comprehensive checks of his vital signs, and the test results showed his vital signs are all maintained in optimal condition. His life hasn't ended. He's just temporarily frozen on this December 12th. Hearing, December 12th. Lauren Blake's heart ached again. Ethan chose this day to be frozen. This day is his birthday. Yes, this day is his birthday. But what did she do on this day? She on this day threw Xavier Woods an unprecedented extravagant wedding. She abandoned Ethan on this day. Couldn't even spend his last birthday with him. At this moment, Lauren Blake couldn't help but remember the scene of me begging her to spend my birthday with me that day. Tomorrow is my birthday. Before, you were always with me on my birthdays. Can you spend one last birthday with me? I know, on your wedding day, this request is excessive, but I won't disturb your wedding. At 4 p.m., all the wedding ceremonies will definitely be completed. Just come by then. Have a piece of cake with me. Then wish me happy birthday. And I'll be content. I'm actually a very easily satisfied person. I've never begged you for anything. The only time I begged you, I just wanted you to have a piece of cake with me. Then say happy birthday to me. That's all. But even such a simple request, she couldn't do it. Like a knife, repeatedly cutting her heart in the most painful way. Lauren Blake clutched her chest, in too much pain to want to live. Though we haven't yet mastered perfect thawing techniques, but science is always advancing. Believe that before long, we'll be able to thaw him without damaging Ethan Clarke's body. The person in charge continued explaining. Moreover, perhaps by then, cancer will also be curable. At that time, not only will Mr. Ethan Clarke be successfully thawed, his cancer will also be easily cured. Both good outcomes. Isn't that better than suffering through chemotherapy? Hearing this, Lauren Blake suddenly looked up. Thawing. That's right. He can be thawed. She grasped at this lifeline like a drowning person, one hand tightly gripping the supervisor's shoulder. Then shouting, "Now! Immediately thaw Ethan. I want to see him. Ms. Blake, please calm down." The person in charge was sweating profusely. "I understand your feelings. But you've misunderstood me. The thawing I mentioned isn't now, but many years from now. Our current technology can only rapidly freeze without damaging human cells. As for thawing, unfortunately our current technology can't do it yet." Lauren Blake was furious. "How can you not be able to do it? Aren't freezing and thawing the same thing? You can't even thaw, yet you still provide freezing services to volunteers? Ms. Blake, please calm down and let me explain. Thawing and freezing are not the same. When freezing, as long as the cooling speed is fast enough, freezing the person instantly, then the cells in the body won't be damaged at all. Though the person is frozen solid, the body's cells remain intact, still alive. It's just that frozen cells no longer function. The person is also frozen at that moment, no longer aging. But thawing is different. Thawing is much more difficult. Ice melts easily. Just heat it up. But what if there's a hamster in the ice? How do you ensure you don't harm the hamster while melting the ice? Put the ice in warm water? It sounds like a gentle approach, but you must consider that different parts of the ice melt at different rates. The inner parts melt slower. This easily leads to a situation where the hamster's brain has thawed, but the organs are still frozen. The human body is a unified whole. The moment the surface thaws, blood starts circulating. If at this time, the person's organs or lower body are still frozen, can you imagine this situation? How terrifying. Blood flows to organs but can't enter. Blood circulation stops. Can this person still live? The difficulty with thawing is how to instantly thaw every cell in the human body. Current science truly can't do this yet. But Ms. Blake, I guarantee you, every employee here is working hard on research, diligently studying, searching for the perfect thawing method. I believe in the not too distant future, we'll definitely overcome the technical difficulties, safely awakening all frozen people. At this point, the person in charge paused. He adjusted the gold-rimmed glasses on his face, then smiled bitterly. Moreover, taking 10,000 steps back, what good would thawing Mr. Ethan do now? He has late-stage pancreatic cancer. Current medical standards simply can't cure it. Even if you wake him up, you can only watch helplessly as he's tortured by disease. This sentence suddenly sobered Lauren Blake. That's right. What good would waking Ethan do now? Ethan is sick, with an incurable disease. Even if she has infinite wealth, she can't cure his illness. She can only watch helplessly as the person she loves most suffers from illness. She still can't cure his illness. But she truly wanted to see him one more time. She wanted to tell him herself. Everything he saw before being frozen was fake. She had lied to him. She didn't marry Xavier Woods. She didn't love Xavier Woods either. From beginning to end, the boy in her heart had always only been him. Her world actually only had him too. Where is Ethan now? After a long silence, Lauren Blake asked hoarsely, I want to see him. His ice coffin is placed in the deep sea. The supervisor told Lauren Blake. Their cryogenic freezing research group built ice coffin storage in the deep sea. The storage wasn't an underwater research base. The storage was only for ice coffins. Living people couldn't enter. Ms. Blake, as you know, the ocean floor is different from land. The ocean floor has low temperatures, high pressure. Building a research base on the ocean floor would cost an enormous amount of money. Don't laugh at us. Our cryogenic freezing research group has always had tight funding. So we only built ice coffin storage on the ocean floor, not a research base. And to protect the ice coffins from seawater erosion, the storage is completely sealed. Even the air inside has been evacuated. After all, air contains oxygen. Oxygen easily oxidizes coffin materials. So the ice coffin storage is inaccessible to people. If you insist on seeing Mr. Ethan, we can use machinery to transport Mr. Ethan Clarke's coffin to shore. You just need to pay a transportation fee. Anything that could be solved with money wasn't a problem for Lauren Blake. She immediately paid triple the transportation fee and requested the cryogenic research group at fastest speed transport my coffin to shore. But even so, it would take 2 days. 2 days, 48 hours didn't sound long. But for Lauren Blake now, every minute, every second after losing me was torture. She left the cryogenic freezing research base in a daze, then drove aimlessly through this vast city, like a ghost with nowhere to rest. She didn't want to go home, because no one was waiting for her there anymore. She stopped by the roadside, then got out at a busy intersection. She stood in the middle of the intersection, watching the flow of people passing by, finally understanding what I wrote in my suicide note. I stand at the crossroads. People hurrying back and forth. This city has so many people. But to me they're all strangers. Only Sister Lauren is different. Sister Lauren is my only connection to this world. Yet when I had cancer and needed companionship most, needed protection most, she personally cut the connection between us. Ethan said in the suicide note. It wasn't her fault. How could it not be her fault? She personally cut his only connection to the world. She personally pushed him into the cold abyss of despair. She should have protected him, her heart being torn continuously. Lauren Blake clutched her chest and slowly sat down. A kind person came to ask, "Miss, are you all right?" Lauren Blake smiled bitterly and shook her head, saying nothing. Was she all right? She on December 12th lost the person she loved most. In a daze, Lauren Blake came to a park. She sat on a park bench, blankly watching white doves flying around the park in the distance. Lauren Blake remembered when I was little. She had brought me here to feed the birds. The little boy was very shy. At first didn't even dare to feed them, hiding behind her, hugging her legs, peeking at the doves, until she took his hand to pet a gentle white dove. Only then did he dare hold food, chasing doves everywhere. Back then Ethan laughed so happily, lost in memories, unable to escape. A clear male voice spoke up, "Excuse me. Could I bother you for a minute?" Lauren Blake came to her senses, coldly looking at the young man before her. The young man was only about 20 years old, decent looking, not particularly handsome, but quite presentable. He wore black athletic wear, holding a large notebook, like a scrapbook, and a very simple charcoal pencil. "Ma'am, it's like this, I'm pursuing my sister," the young man said, blushing. "Not my real sister. My neighbor's sister. I'm from a single-parent family. My mother died when I was very young. My dad was busy making money and often didn't care about me. The neighbor's sister felt sorry for me, often called me over for dinner, also helped me with homework, threw birthday parties for me, bought me new clothes. She's very gentle and very beautiful. I absolutely adore her. My biggest childhood dream was to grow up quickly, then confess to her, fall in love, and marry her." When the young man mentioned the neighbor's sister, his eyes sparkled, like in pitch darkness, suddenly lighting up a ray of light. His whole life was illuminated by her. I waited so long, finally grew up, but when I hopefully confessed to her, she rejected me. At this point, the light in the young man's eyes immediately dimmed. She said she's 12 years older than me. If we were together, people would gossip. I don't accept it. I think age isn't a problem. Love can overcome everything. Moreover, I want to prove to her, modern people's thinking is very open. Sibling love is nothing at all. As long as we bravely take one step, we'll definitely have a beautiful ending. So, I'm collecting opinions from everyone on the street. Could you please take a few minutes to help me write in this collection book your view on sibling love? I want to show her, even if we're together, there might be some petty people gossiping, but in this world, there are actually more people who will understand us, support us. The young man's words made Lauren Blake's heart ache again. This passionate young man before her, running everywhere for love, was exactly like the person who months ago gathered all his courage to confess to her. "Ethan Clark, you don't look very old. Are you 20 yet?" Lauren Blake asked. "Yes," the young man said. "I'm 21 this year." 21 years old, so young. "Do you know what love is?" Lauren Blake asked again. Have you considered, maybe your feelings for her aren't what's called love, but because you lack maternal love. So toward an older neighbor sister, you developed a kind of psychological attachment. And you're still too young. Can't distinguish between the two. Mistaking it for love? This was actually what Lauren Blake wanted to say to me. I was too young. Only 18 years old. Could I distinguish what love is? She didn't dare accept me then. Also afraid I'd confused love and attachment. Children always mistake attachment and admiration for older people as love. Ma'am, I'm just young. Not stupid. The young man protested. Could you slightly older people stop treating us young people as idiots? We're not stupid. We can distinguish what love is. Moreover, I study biology at university. I'm an honors student at Harvard. I can very responsibly tell you, we young people actually understand love better than you. Because we're young, healthy. When we meet someone we like, we secrete more hormones. So our young people's love compared to yours burns hotter, more blindly, more recklessly. But this doesn't mean we're stupid. We just love more purely. This speech left Lauren Blake speechless. She'd always thought young people weren't mentally mature. They weren't rational, and didn't understand what love was. But only at this moment did she understand. The one who truly didn't understand love was her. What rationality? What restraint? When truly in love, none of that matters. When love comes fiercely, what rationality remains? Her rationality, her restraint had now all become a joke. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have doubted your feelings for her. Lauren Blake said, meeting you. Your sister is very lucky. Hearing this, the young man blushed. He shook his head, then said softly, no. I should say meeting her. I'm very lucky. Lauren Blake took the pen the young man offered. Then with utmost sincerity and reverence for love, wrote her view in the young man's collection book. To the unknown neighbor sister. Your younger brother told me your story. He said a lot, but from beginning to end, all I heard was your gentleness toward him, and his love for you. Though you rejected him, he said it was because you fear society's judgment, not that you don't like him. So I boldly guess, you must also really like this passionate young man, who loves you to the point of being a bit silly. But you can't acknowledge your love, because you're the older one. You think you should be more rational. You think the younger brother might not understand. But you can't be like that. You even think you must heartlessly cut off these feelings that society won't recognize. That's the right thing to do. But is society's gaze really that important? We only live once. Do we choose fear, cowering under society's gaze, or bravely fight for ourselves and the one we love? Your deeply loving younger brother is crossing streets, stopping every passerby, begging them to write in this somewhat childish notebook, blessings for your love. He's never feared society's gaze. Because he doesn't care? I don't think so. He does this because he loves you enough. His will is firm enough. Rumors can't defeat him. Others' strange looks can't defeat him either. I asked him if it was worth it. He said, thinking of your smile. Everything is worth it. I think. This is probably love's truest form. Unrelated to age. Also unrelated to wealth. Love is pure. We are the vulgar ones. Today's words from your younger brother also taught me a lot. If you accept him, I sincerely wish you to grow old together. Love each other forever, never troubled by rumors. After writing, Lauren Blake returned the collection book to the young man. Seeing she wrote so much, the young man was very moved. Ma'am, thank you. You write so beautifully. She'll definitely be moved after reading this. Lauren Blake smiled. Thank you too. After talking with you, I feel enlightened. At this moment, the fog surrounding her heart finally dissipated. She finally dared face her inner self. She loved me. She didn't want to just be my sister Lauren. She wanted to hold me. Wanted to kiss me. Wanted to possess all of me. Wanted me to completely belong to her. Her love for me wasn't selfless great love, but selfish romantic love between man and woman. This feeling might not be recognized by society. But so what? We only live once. Once missed, there's no chance to do over. She'd already missed Ethan once. Absolutely wouldn't miss a second time. Back home, Lauren Blake made two decisions. The first decision, was Blake Corporation's technological transformation. From now on, Blake Corporation would allocate 20% of profits annually. Half of this 20% profit to the cryogenic freezing research group, supporting them to develop safe thawing technology soon. Half to the cancer research group, supporting them to conquer cancer soon, benefiting humanity. At the same time, she resigned as chairman of Blake Corporation and appointed her biological sister Nina Blake as acting chairman of Blake Corporation. All future matters big and small of Blake Corporation would be decided by Nina Blake. And the second decision? 3 days later, Lauren Blake finally saw me, the one she'd missed desperately. I lay in the coffin, eyes closed as if sound asleep, looking at the person sleeping in the coffin. Lauren Blake couldn't help remembering countless nights before when she'd coaxed me to sleep. I also had my eyes closed like now, obediently lying in her arms. The only difference was, now even my eyelashes were frozen. My complexion was so pale. It must be so cold in the ice coffin, right? Ethan, don't be afraid. Sister Lauren is coming to keep you company. Ethan, I'm sorry. Sister Lauren lied to you. Lauren Blake reached out, wanting to touch my pale cheek. But in the end, she could only touch the cold ice coffin lid. She had no way to touch me. Just like before when I so many times wanted to touch her heart, but was rejected by her. Actually, Xavier Woods was never my boyfriend at all. I don't love him one bit. The person I've always loved is you, but I didn't dare admit it. I thought if I admitted my love for you, it would be a betrayal. Betraying your parents, your mother, always treated me like her own sister. How could I toward their son have these sinful thoughts? So I didn't dare admit it. I started constantly brainwashing myself, lying to myself that you didn't actually love me. You were still too young. You didn't understand what love was at all. As your sister, I had to correct you. I couldn't let you stay mistaken. So I paid Xavier Woods, asked him to pretend to be my boyfriend, to make you give up. Everything was fake. He is a makeup artist. Those marks you saw on his body were all drawn by him with props. I never touched him at all. The wedding was fake too. I didn't participate in that wedding at all. I just paid for it. Whatever else Xavier Woods wanted to do, I let him do. Though the wedding was extravagant, I actually wasn't focused the whole time. My heart only thought to quickly end this charade, so I could spend your birthday with you. At this point, Lauren Blake couldn't help but smile bitterly. She almost never cried, but now her eyes were red. Ethan, I'm sorry. I clearly promised to spend your birthday with you. But in the end I still broke my promise. Lauren Blake ached like being cut by knives. The company's project in Europe had problems. The person in charge there said the situation was urgent. I absolutely had to handle it personally. At that time I thought there would be many more chances to celebrate your birthday. Missing this one wouldn't matter. But you little brat, how did it suddenly become the last time? If I'd known it was the last time, even if the universe exploded, I wouldn't have left you. Through the cold coffin, she had no way to touch my face. At the same time Lauren Blake knew, no matter how deep her confession now, I couldn't hear it, but she still wanted to tell me, Ethan, can you forgive me? I promise you, every birthday from now on, I'll be by your side. Until death separates us. With that Lauren Blake bent down and placed a kiss on the ice coffin. She kissed where my lips were. Because the ice coffin separated us. She couldn't kiss me now. But it's okay. She believed when I woke up next time, she could definitely kiss me without hesitation. This kiss might have to wait thousands of years. But it's okay. She was willing to wait. Ms. Blake, you're not joking? The cryogenic freezing research group supervisor exclaimed. You're requesting us to freeze you? Lauren Blake nodded, extremely calmly saying, that's right. Moreover, from today, I'm your cryogenic research group's largest shareholder. From now on 20% of Blake Corporation's annual income will all be invested in the cryogenic research base, helping you research thawing technology. 20% didn't sound like much. But this was Blake Corporation. Blake Corporation's monthly net profit reached hundreds of billions. Ms. Blake, we're extremely grateful you're willing to provide funding. We're incredibly thankful. But cryogenic freezing technology is mainly for people with terminal illnesses. The cryogenic freezing research group supervisor patiently explained to Lauren Blake. Like ALS, cancer, multiple organ failure, these diseases, with current medical standards, patients basically have no hope of being cured. Many terminally ill patients are still very young. Rather than slowly waiting to die, they hope after saying goodbye to loved ones to accept freezing the demonic disease along with time, then waiting for science to advance, for humanity's medical standards to develop rapidly, developing to a day when their terminal illness can be cured, then thawing. At this point, the supervisor paused, then said somewhat awkwardly, "But your body is very healthy. You don't have any illness. I don't understand why you want to freeze yourself." Hearing this, Lauren Blake turned her head, looking at the room containing my ice coffin. That gaze was full of tenderness. If he wakes up, and I'm not there, he'll definitely be very lonely. And I won't let him be lonely anymore. Hearing this, the supervisor was stunned at first, then sighed heavily. "Ms. Blake, I know you have deep feelings for Mr. Ethan Clarke. But love isn't everything in life." The supervisor said, "I think I have an obligation to remind you. When you're frozen, though your time stops, your relatives, your friends, their time continues. Hundreds of years later when you wake up, your relatives, your friends, will probably all have left this world. Terminal patients have no choice. They want to live, they can only hope for cryogenic freezing technology. But you're different. You're very healthy. You can in this familiar world, live a healthy life with relatives and friends. Happy and joyful. Do you really want to give up family for love now? Friendship? Give up everything you have. Enter an ice coffin and fall asleep with him?" Facing the supervisor's sincere question, Lauren Blake nodded without hesitation. "No need to persuade me anymore. I decided long ago." She knew the future world would be completely unfamiliar. But precisely because of this, she was even more determined to freeze herself, to fall asleep with her young man, so the young man wouldn't be afraid when he woke. He had said she was his only connection to the world. Then, she naturally had to go through thousands of years of freezing with him, to the future. "Ms. Blake, your love for him moves me greatly. But I still must pour cold water." The supervisor sighed. Thawing the human body to this day remains only theoretical, though every scientist among us carries endless passion, researching human body thawing technology. But we must admit, there's still a possibility we'll fail in the future. We ultimately may not find a safe way to thaw human bodies. I also said these words to Mr. Ethan Clarke. If we fail in our research, then you and Mr. Ethan Clarke will never wake up. The supervisor spoke sincerely, hoping to persuade Lauren Blake to give up the idea of freezing herself. However, no matter how he advised, Lauren Blake had only one sentence. Regardless of whether thawing succeeds in the future, I won't change my mind. The woman's gaze was determined, without any avoidance or hesitation in her eyes. I've missed him once. I absolutely won't miss a second time. If thawing succeeds in the future, then she and I will reunite in the future. If not, then she and I go to the afterlife together. The deep sea is so dark and cold. Without her company, that little boy who's afraid of darkness and cold, what would he do? With all advice exhausted, the supervisor had no choice but to give Lauren Blake the freezing consent form to sign. Signing, health examination, choosing ice coffin, all procedures smoothly. Lauren Blake was extremely efficient, completing all procedures in one day. But she didn't freeze immediately. Before freezing, she had a few things to arrange. She took all her current assets, giving them to the cryogenic freezing experiment group supervisor, to build a new ice coffin storage at Starlight Bay. Her Ethan loved stars most, and Starlight Bay was famous for its beautiful starry sky and lake as pretty as the moon. The deep sea was too dark and cold. Her Ethan shouldn't sink into the deep sea anymore. When the ice coffin storage at Starlight Bay was built, she and Ethan would move there, together sleeping for thousands of years under the romantic starry sky. And during the days of deep sleep, let the stars I gave protect us. Besides building ice coffin storage at Starlight Bay, Lauren Blake also planned several other places, asking the supervisor to build ice coffin storage and cryogenic research bases there. After finishing the planning, Lauren Blake lay in the ice coffin. The freezing countdown echoed beside her. Lauren Blake closed her eyes. She wasn't afraid at all. Only thinking in her heart, "Ethan, don't be afraid. Sister Lauren is coming to keep you company. Begin cooling." Following the supervisor's command, endless cold rushed in. Lauren Blake, also in endless love for me, lost consciousness. In just a moment, the freezing was complete. Lauren Blake's and my lives were both paused by the ice. But other people's time continued. Time like an arrow, days like a shuttle. In the blink of an eye, 50 years passed. A great person once said, "Human science doesn't develop evenly, but like a big explosion. Short periods can see breakthrough progress, then stagnation again." Humanity from ancient to modern times took thousands of years. But modern high technology wasn't the result of thousands of years of accumulation, but exploded in just decades. Humanity entering modern society was only about 100 years ago, and thawing technology and medical development were much faster than Lauren Blake had anticipated. Because of large capital support, the Cryogenic Research Group in less than 10 years had researched perfect thawing technology. But at that time pancreatic cancer hadn't been conquered yet. So the supervisor didn't wake Lauren Blake and me. But 50 years later, thanks to the efforts of thousands of scientists and doctors, pancreatic cancer could finally be cured. The time to wake Lauren Blake and me had finally come. And now the supervisor who froze Lauren Blake and me years ago was already 89 years old. He'd retired over 20 years ago. But on the day Lauren Blake and Ethan Clark thawed, he still came to the research base, wanting to witness with his own eyes these lovers crossing 50 years of time, reuniting once again. Besides the supervisor from years ago, the research base had another mysterious guest, also waiting for Lauren Blake and me to thaw and reunite. Thawing countdown begins. The cold electronic female voice rang out. Everyone's hearts also tightened. "I heard this thawing is for the major sponsor of our cryogenic base? Many of our research bases and ice coffin storage facilities were all sponsored and built by her." "That's right. I heard too. Before freezing she was a super wealthy person. But the person she loved had a terminal illness. She chose to be frozen, to be with the one she loved. So wealthy yet so devoted. What kind of extraordinary woman is this? Her lover is really lucky." Several new scientists discussed. As the current largest shareholder of the cryogenic research base, over the past 50 years, the love story of Lauren Blake and me had spread throughout the research base in many versions. In the process of being passed around, many details were omitted, but the sincere love crossing 50 years of time moved countless people. 5, 4, 3, 2. Thawing begins. When the countdown ended, the machinery operated. A strong white gas sprayed into Lauren Blake's and my ice coffins. Next, blue light illuminated. The ice in the coffins melted instantly. And Lauren Blake and I, asleep for 50 years, at this moment slowly opened our eyes. Suddenly waking up, my gaze was confused. What's happening? Wasn't I frozen? Why am I awake now? Because I was frozen in an instant. I had lost consciousness. So my memory still stopped. At the moment I was frozen 50 years ago. So in my consciousness, I had just been frozen and immediately woke up. "Mr. Ethan, how do you feel?" Seeing me awake, the staff quickly came forward asking, "Do you feel dizzy or nauseous?" "Don't worry, this is a normal reaction after thawing. If you need to vomit, just do it. Here's a vomit bag, here's clean water, here's a towel. If you need anything else just tell me." I was completely stunned. Thawing? Didn't I tell the supervisor not to thaw me? But before the staff could answer, a familiar female voice suddenly rang out behind me. "Ethan." Though decades had passed, I still immediately recognized the voice's owner. "Sister Lauren." I suddenly turned around, looking behind in disbelief, and standing behind me, looking at me with devotion, was indeed Lauren Blake. Lauren Blake had also just stepped out of the coffin. Her hair was soaking wet, still emanating cold air that hadn't dissipated. But she didn't care much. As soon as she regained mobility, she came to my side, then held me tightly with all her strength. "Ethan, I finally see you again." Lauren Blake tightly embraced the young man in her arms. She held so tight, as if wanting to merge me into her flesh and blood. "Thank God for giving us this chance to reunite. This reunion, she absolutely won't let us miss each other again." "Sister Lauren, why are you here?" I asked confusedly. "And why do you look like you just thawed too?" Behind Lauren Blake was clearly an ice coffin that had just thawed. My brain was half a beat slow. I slowly thought, could Sister Lauren have frozen herself too? "Why, didn't you marry Xavier Woods? You froze yourself. Then what about Xavier Woods?" Too many questions rushed in. I had just woken up. My brain temporarily couldn't process this complex information. As I was thinking, my head hurt like it was splitting. I held my head, expression pained. Lauren Blake immediately panicked. "What's wrong, Ethan? Is it a headache? You just thawed. Don't think too much for now. Drink some water, rest." But I still had many questions in my heart. I gripped Lauren Blake's sleeve, refusing to let go. Seeing this, Lauren Blake couldn't help but laugh. She lovingly stroked my adorable head, then smiled. "Don't worry. Sister Lauren isn't going anywhere. Sister Lauren will always be by your side." My body was quite weak. After resting for a long time, the adverse reactions after thawing slowly disappeared. And during my rest, Lauren Blake also patiently told me about what happened after I was frozen. One thing after another. So everything was fake? I opened my wet eyes wide. "Xavier Woods wasn't your boyfriend at all? You hired him to deceive me?" Being stared at by these big, black, and wet eyes, Lauren Blake felt somewhat guilty for a moment. Ethan's face swelled up, pretending to be serious, then lecturing. "This was already 50 years ago. You're not being petty wanting to settle scores. From 50 years ago with Sister Lauren, are you?" "What 50 years ago? It was clearly yesterday." I puffed my cheeks, saying. Hearing this, Lauren Blake took out a calendar, then pointed to the year 2074 on it. "How is it yesterday? Today is the year 2074. Xavier Woods is probably long dead from old age. Forgive him." "What does it have to do with Xavier Woods? Weren't you the one who invited him to deceive me? Though he instigated things and insulted my parents, which was hateful. But the culprit was clearly you." I glared at Lauren Blake. Sister Lauren is the big villain. Lauren Blake was made to laugh by my cute appearance. She reached out to stroke my head, then laughed and hugged. All right, I'm the big villain. Our Ethan is the cute baby." I reached out to hug Lauren Blake's waist. She leaned into my arms, listening to my strong heartbeat, then closed her eyes and said softly, "I gave up everything. Chose you. I don't have parents, don't have relatives, don't even have friends. My only connection to this world is Sister Lauren. But Sister Lauren is different. Sister Lauren has parents and relatives. But for me, she gave up everything." Before freezing, I once thought with infinite regret. I'd never been firmly chosen by anyone. Even my mother also abandoned me at the last moment. But now Sister Lauren bet everything. Firmly chose me. Wherever I am, she'll run there. She'll forever hold my hand, never letting go. So I forgive Sister Lauren. I bent down on Lauren Blake's beautiful cheek, gently kissed once. "But Sister Lauren must promise me. You can't lie to me anymore." Hearing this, Lauren Blake laughed. "Baby, you kissed the wrong place." With that she lifted my face, then raised her head to kiss. She should have kissed me long ago. When I first confessed to her, she should have held me tight, then kissed me. Unfortunately, she was too foolish then, not understanding her own heart imprisoned by worldly conventions. 50 years ago when I lay in the ice coffin, she reached out but couldn't touch me, bent down but couldn't kiss me. But now this kiss crossed 50 years of time, finally falling on my lips. After the brief tenderness, I asked Lauren Blake, "Sister Lauren, how did you figure it out then? Was it because I was frozen? You lost me, so suddenly understood in your pain?" "Yes, but not entirely. Lauren Blake smiled. That day after leaving the cryogenic research base, I met on the street a young man pursuing his neighbor's sister. His words suddenly woke me up. I asked very curiously, "What did he say to you? Can you tell me?" Lauren Blake bent down to kiss my forehead. Then afterward, sincerely told me about that encounter 50 years ago. After telling, Lauren Blake couldn't help but sigh. It's been 50 years now. I wonder if that young man successfully pursued his sister. She had just finished speaking when the restroom door was pushed from outside. The base director, escorted by scientists, walked in with a cane. He was an old man with white hair. Though very old, he still looked very distinguished. "Ms. Blake, this is the director of our cryogenic freezing research base, Mr. Daniel Chase, Mr. Chase." The scientist introduced to Lauren Blake. "You're in his thawing. Used the laser combined with water vapor method. An idea Mr. Chase proposed 40 years ago. Is that so?" Lauren Blake stepped forward, respectfully shaking Mr. Chase's hand. "Thank you for thawing me and my love." Mr. Chase smiled brightly at Lauren Blake. "Ms. Blake, I should thank you too, thank you very much." Lauren Blake frowned, looking confused. Mr. Chase smiled even brighter. He took from his old briefcase a worn collection notebook, then smiled, asking Lauren Blake, "Ms. Blake, do you remember me?" Looking at the worn collection notebook, Lauren Blake was extremely surprised. "It's you." "That's right. It's me." Mr. Chase smiled. "I never thought the world was so small. My first job after graduation was precisely the International Cryogenic Research Base Ms. Blake sponsored." Daniel Chase told Lauren Blake. His sister read the message Lauren Blake wrote. Was very moved. Finally she overcame psychological barriers. Chose to bravely be with him. So Daniel Chase was always grateful to Lauren Blake. Later he even brought his sister specifically back to that small park, wanting to find Lauren Blake, then thank Lauren Blake together with his sister. Unfortunately he and his sister afterward went to that park countless times, never meeting Lauren Blake again. He thought they might never meet again in their lives. Unexpectedly, after graduation he came to the Starlight Bay Cryogenic Research Base, then saw Lauren Blake in the base's ice coffin. The supervisor at that time of the Starlight Bay Cryogenic Research Base told Daniel Chase the story of Lauren Blake and Ethan Clark. Daniel Chase was very moved. He thought this must be fate's arrangement for them to reunite here. From that moment, Daniel Chase swore he would definitely research a way to safely thaw human bodies. Thawing Lauren Blake and me. Years ago Lauren Blake's message fulfilled him and his neighbor's sister. And now, it was his turn to fulfill Lauren Blake and Ethan Clark. Actually I reached retirement age long ago. But to see you wake up with my own eyes, I held on for a few more years. Mr. Chase smiled. Now you've finally woken. My wish is fulfilled. I can retire peacefully to accompany my wife. Fate is truly miraculous. 2-age gap loves crossing 50 years of time, finally fulfilling each other. Afterward, Lauren Blake and I saw Mr. Chase home together. And in Mr. Chase's home, the 93-year-old neighbor's sister was sitting at the door holding a cat, waiting for him to come home. Mr. Chase on the way home had bought her the chocolate candy she loved most. Looking at the white-haired, but still loving as before, Mr. Chase, and the one he loved, Lauren Blake, and I couldn't help but hold hands tightly. Sister Lauren, will we be this happy in the future too? We will. I swear I'll definitely make you happy forever. This was her promise to me. Never to be broken in this lifetime. Sweet ending.